welcome back.
Welcome back. We found the dude.
We found the dude.
Yeah, he respawned.
He respawned back where he belongs so I can kill him. Just the one. I don't care how big your axe is. But yeah.
Yeah, we gonna get you.
Yeah, but that was a funny moment. I did not expect something like that to happen in this game, but hey, there you go.
Oh, I was like, knocked him down and like, you ain't getting up, fool.
Man, no chance.
Alert. Incoming message from command.
All units, be on the lookout for a missing Yorha in the city ruins. This unit was in possession of several plug-in chips that contain classified information. I need you to seek out whatever intel you can regarding their current whereabouts and status.
Roger. Chips with classified data, is it?
Coincidence? Probably not.
Probably not.
Hey, dude.
So we got your thing. And I was like, I'm thinking about it. Like the first time I said it, I was like, no. But I was like, you know what? Fine.
Like, screw it. We need stuff anyway.
And you get a good pod program.
Ah, his family. I remember that. Oh, I think this is yeah.
Yeah, I'm just
messing with that.
showing it. It just creates a gravity well that draws in enemies, so it makes it really good for groups, and you can just attack all of them, and they're pretty helpless. They take damage.
Good stuff, good stuff. So yeah, at this point we're... Oh yeah, by the way, if in case you guys are wondering, we're just tuning in.
Yeah.
We have to dub over our couple episodes.
Yeah, all of our audio got lost.
So
Lost in space, we're not sure why.
So that's kind of why we're not like totally on point of like what exactly we're doing.
Yeah.
So we're
If it's a
reliving
bit
the moments.
confusing, yeah. Yeah, I have a question, Andrew. What do you think of the Yorha commander?
She's quite bossy.
Yeah, as the other characters mention all the time, like 9S is like, see what I mean?
I mean, I know she's in charge.
Yeah.
But it's also... Well, it's an interesting thing, because something we've talked about a little bit here and there is the fact that, you know, this war has been going on for so long that, you know, both the machines and the androids, you know, they're developing personalities, they're developing consciousnesses.
Yeah, I will remind you, this is the 14th machine war, if I'm correct. This is how long it's been going.
So, you know, when we haven't seen like a single like true human yet, and I don't know if we ever will.
Yeah, this is one mission where we take a bunch of photographs, look at these graphs, and identify where they're from.
Oh, because he lost her memory.
Yep. She's like, I can't remember where. Help her recover her memories.
Excuse me, sir.
Yep.
Sir.
He's a big man, needs to walk his path, his walk cycle, no matter what. Wouldn't he matter if the world's ending? He'll still walk that walk cycle.
But you know, so it must be weird for the commander who
these places look familiar.
was given
One
like,
looks like
here's
the
your mission.
amusement park.
This is what you have to do.
One looks like
period.
the desert. And
Wipe
one
out
looks
the
like
machines.
forest.
Wipe out the aliens.
Let's keep
And it's
our
been
eyes
going on
open
for
next
so
time we're in
long.
any of those areas.
And because it's been going on so long that all of like her subordinates, like they're getting bored.
Yeah.
Like they're wanting to do like anything else.
After so much time, it's natural that anyone participating would question. And that's what you see a lot of them, like resistance members and Yorha members and machines. All of them are questioning, why are we even... What started this? Why are we even fighting this war?
What are we doing this for again? Like, because all the humans had to leave. Like, what are humans? Like, are you...
It's been so long that, as the robots say, if they're connected to the network, they get the whole signal, like, hey, destroy the humans and whatever. But it's like, the job is done. It's...
Yeah.
The humans have fled.
It's like, destroy all... Like, get rid of all the humans on the Earth. And like...
Now what?
Alright!
Okay.
They're gone.
Now what? Well...
Stand by.
For the ones that haven't...
And how long can you stand by without going...
Exactly. The ones that haven't disconnected from the network, you've noticed...
Turns out those soldiers didn't actually steal anything.
Oh yeah, that's the fucked up thing.
Which
it's
means...
like, 9S is
what?
like, they didn't steal a thing.
9S to command. Come in.
Operator 210 here. Go ahead.
It's about the Yorha soldiers who deserted.
Copy that, 9S. We've confirmed their status on this end.
No, but I mean... The Resistance says that none of their supplies are actually missing. So what's going on here?
I lack access to the data concerning this mission.
Huh?
The order came from the commander herself.
What? Operator, I don't understand.
Be careful, 9S. I have no further information.
No, now that I know more about the
Operator?
game, it's much more sinister.
Operator?
Like,
The hell
be
is that all
careful,
about?
9S. It seems
Let's
like
go.
there's an edge to that delivery.
But
Well, of course. Like,
We're
if
here
you
to fight.
if you question
That's
the
all.
higher authority...
And that's also another thing
You
I
don't
like
get
about
killed.
9S. 9S is curiosity.
Well,
I mean,
think
as he mentioned, he's a scanner type, and they are naturally curious.
Yeah, I mean, I remember at this point you said there's a reason why the people on the ground wear the eye
Yeah,
there,
it's-
and the people giving the commands.
It's
wear
all
the
it's all
mouth.
very thematic. Yeah, the only one that doesn't have her eyes or mouth covered is the commander. She is allowed to speak and see the truth. Whether she relays that to you is another thing, but you know.
Right. So to recap, for those who don't like, he just said it, but I'm just gonna break it down real quick.
Yes.
Blindfolds can't see the truth. Face covering.
Yeah, we
can't
are
speak the truth.
We dive down to Earth, like all the Yohar units that dive down to Earth are on the surface. They're seeing what is reality, but at the same time they are not, because they wear their combat visors, which are those blindfolds over their eyes. And then all the operators who are basically your intel and like your constant link to the bunker, they have these veils over their mouth because they can't tell you the truth. I mean, judging by their position and the computer stuff that they do, they probably have they know a lot more than they're ever letting on.
Well, yeah, I mean, they can, being up higher up and using satellites, they can see the bigger picture.
Exactly.
Whereas you're right there, you can't see the bigger picture.
That concludes our report on the events surrounding the alien wreckage. Then they were dead this whole time.
Yes.
The Council of Humanity needs time to formulate a plan. Until
when we
then,
finally deliver it
this
on
information
Quest,
must be kept
and we
confidential.
tell the commander that
Speak
the aliens
of
are
it to
dead.
no one.
So
Of course. Your next
So,
mission
this is the most
to gather
craziest
additional
proxy
intel
war.
on the
It's-
individual known as
we're
Pascal.
proxies of the humans.
you mean that freaky machine
the
we
machines
ran
are proxies
into?
of the aliens.
This order comes
and it's
directly
two proxies
from the
fighting
Council.
each other when
Knowledge of such
one, the
unique
aliens are dead, and
individuals
two, the
is
humans we
essential
haven't
for the
seen.
success of
They're
future
just on the
missions.
moon.
Understood.
I mean, for all we know, like, I'm speculating. I don't know.
Yep.
I've done my best to not read anything on this, so
But
I'm
yeah,
really
you
surprised.
trust me when I say the game is doing that on purpose, where it wants you to do that. And very early on,
Yeah,
I
the commander
everyone
sure is a
figured
slave
out as
driver,
well.
huh?
Like, I don't
And
think
now we
the
have to go
humans
back to
are
the
here.
city ruins.
It's-
Yeah.
I wouldn't consider it much of a spoiler, but yeah.
Like,
I
I
would
would
rest a little
like,
bit,
I don't
2B.
think they're even there
It's
or
been a
alive
while.
on the moon
I'll
anymore.
rest if I
Yeah.
feel like it.
You know, it's just a bunch of
Like,
audio on loop.
isn't that just the craziest? Was like a war still being fought, even though the original sides are long gone. It does cool commentary of like, well, like the persistence of that vile and that spite that happens in war.
Mm-hmm.
That it kind of relates to how like generations that knew nothing about the original conflict are thrown into the war.
Like the 100 Years' War or something.
Yeah, where it's like
It's
these,
like,
these
by the end
kids
of it,
are
like,
these
what are
kids
we
were
doing this
thrown
for?
the kids were thrown into the war and they're like, why? Oh, okay, fine, fight for my country. That's power of propaganda, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this Yoha member, she had a mentor that she wants to, it's not priority, but yeah, we accept a request to gather her members like mementos or like a data. Like I think maybe her memories, chips or something. But, yeah.
Something like that. And this was one that James had not done in his previous
Yeah, because
plays.
I actually missed it. She was in this, like, why would I go back to the,
The hangar?
the hangar where you get a flight unit because you can just teleport back to, like, I would go right back into my little box and just pop out a vending machine. Awesome! I got a 2B. just like those vending machines in Japan where it's like like the little capsule machines. I got my 2B Nendroid. Actually, no, that'd be way too expensive.
We're trying to
get
find
out.
her black box.
Yeah, her black box, which has all her memories and everything. I don't know if we mentioned this, but isn't it so coy that they're calling their brain things their black box? It's a little black box, and it's also metaphorical, as in we don't exactly know how it works, but it keeps their consciousness, arguably their soul. In philosophy, I believe it's mentioned how to get around questions of philosophy, some philosophers would just refer to the human consciousness as like okay, here's our mind. The soul of the human soul, will just put it in this nebulous black box, and then that makes us have our realization of self. So it's obviously referring to that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And man, realizing you have a self is always a tough thing.
Yeah. Like one of the most basic philosophical arguments of like you can't argue against I think therefore I am. It basically means that no matter how much you try to disprove your own like consciousness, I can maybe disprove your consciousness, like you're just a simulation of my mind, as that whole thing goes with philosophy. But if I try to like disprove myself existing, I just thought, and thus since I thought, I exist.
Yeah. Just the fact that you're trying to disprove yourself.
It proves myself.
It proves that you're there.
Yep. So that's one thing in philosophy that's pretty neat. I always found it's just like if a cognizant thing thinks and is centered around itself, if it thinks and it realizes it has thoughts, then you can't disprove its existence. Well, it can't disprove its own existence.
Yeah.
Everything else is left up in the air.
Well, because that's the thing that separates us from normal animals. Yes, we have the basic stuff like eat, survive, reproduce.
Yeah.
That's all. That's the things that all animals have as a thing of life.
Yes.
But we have this higher level of consciousness where we can actually rationalize and we can go against our instincts as well.
And I don't know if this it has been the case that humankind is the only ones to ponder these deeper questions,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's sort of the thing where we consider the idea that we know we're going to die. We know this. Animals don't really think about that. They survive to stay alive. That's their function. But they don't ponder the idea that one day I'm going to die. That doesn't occur to them.
Yeah, it only...
So sometimes people say, sometimes
remember,
are we truly better off than the animals? Because they don't have to wrestle with this thing.
Because we're constantly having that hang over us. Yeah, actually that reminds me of, I remember Will's dog, Dolly, passed away. And it was just, when she got near her time, and she just realized it. And it was very sad. But I see what you're talking about for us. We constantly have that... we constantly talk about it, we constantly have that overhanging in our head. It's always in the back of our consciousness. Yeah.
Plus it's in all it's in a lot of movies where the idea of killed.
What happens after death and so on.
And the idea that, and also the fact that, when someone we know passes away, in the case of animals, they might miss them for a few days, but they move on. And that's that. Whereas some people never let go of someone who's passed away. So it's just the plus and minus of having that sort of function in our heads, and the fact that we actually have emotions to feel these sorts of things. you know, I mean, like, and I'll certainly argue the fact that I, having been around pets and animals all my life, they have some grasp of emotion. Like, you can tell when a thing is happy
Oh yeah.
or distressed or sorts of. Those, I think, are real for animals, but they're not able to feel them as deeply as we do. Like, you know, I've never seen a dog that's chronically depressed.
Yeah.
Also, you know, we'll see dogs that have been abused and they'll be like,
Yeah.
unsure of people. And,
Psychological scars, yeah.
you know, that I think is definitely real for them.
But
I don't know,
it's hard to say because like there just isn't enough like instances and it's hard like how would we it's
How would
hard to
you
even
define?
yeah how would we even I was like, oh, I missed a box. It's hidden in the darkness.
Were you afraid of the dark as a kid?
Yes.
I was too.
I have my closet open nowadays, but as a kid I would never like my closet to be open when I was little.
I didn't either, because my closet was pretty darn big, so I was feeling irrational.
Like there's enough room for someone to be in there.
Yeah!
Someone real or not. I mean, you know, mind wanders. Oh man, one of those guys jumped into the laser. Damn.
Yeah, I saw that the first time. Like he was commenting, why are their blasts all round and purple?
It's because it's a thing that carried over from NieR. All the enemies would shoot these round spherical blasts and me pushing 9S out of the way.
Why did I even see him?
He literally jumped from the sky.
But he also, like, his color palette also blends
Blends
in
in?
with the background.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll ever get there in terms of, like, creating... I don't know if we'll get to full AI, but, like, having, you know, automata... What's the word? Basically,
Automata?
yeah, stuff like that, where it's, like, androidish looking things.
Yeah, like iRobot, a machine that can think and I think we will. Like hell, I think like there's already some interesting things being done in like the neurosciences and everything. Like one I forget his name, but one scientist was just like, I'm totally up for like he's like when I pass on, I want to see if this thing he's working on. He wants to see if he can actually like simulate his consciousness perfectly. The guy was like, yeah, I'm getting old and I'm working on this thing. Oh, might as well use me as a test subject, whatever. And that's for like a manufactured like, you know, consciousness. We're already having robots that show some surprising amount. Like there's that one robot in that medical facility. It's like robot runs out of medical facility and causes havoc because they just start like just start making their own decisions, and like it's based off of like sometimes some of these robotic competitions show that like they have robots that have adaptive qualities.
Mm-hmm.
So like I was like, that's just the beginning of it. We're gonna see them like adapt to things and make their own decisions.
Confirmed. It belongs to
And
the
thus,
missing unit known as 11B.
11B.
So this is where you landed. Pod, can you access her black box?
Yeah, I was
Negative.
mentioning
Unit 11B's black box has been irreparably damaged.
damage.
Proposal.
I think I mentioned during this, I
Unit
was like, I
2B
wonder which
should
one of
recover
the
any
people
usable
flying with
weapons.
me was 11B, the one on the
Fragmented
right or
data
left or
detected in
wherever.
memory region.
Did she last as long as the last dude, the last person or not? You'll become a part of me, 11B.
Just think of Piccolo.
God, Piccolo. What do you mean I have a pool table? Click. It's just like Nail and Kami are just chilling in there. And then when Piccolo gets beat by Cell, Nail's like, gentlemen, it has been an honor serving you all on this ship. It's like, it's just like Piccolo's sinking in the ocean. He's just like waterlogged. Oh man.
So I think we were reading this.
Yep, reactivation complete. I'm cold, my sensory systems seem to be failing. God, that's scary.
Yeah. That oddly ties into what we were saying earlier, where, when you know you're dying.
Like a robot like that could feel and sense these things. That would be, like, think of how fresh and scary and crazy it is when we're kids. You like the first time you burn your hand on a stove or something, it was like the end of the world.
But this is going to the idea of like the
there's no humans to take responsibilities anymore.
well, like the idea of like when you know that parts of you are shutting down.
Yeah.
And like, I guess because as something as are they really robotic? I mean, they have parts, but like I know they're not actually robots, but like androids here.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that they know like, okay, this part of me is now malfunctioning or no longer functional.
Yep.
So they know that parts of them are just shutting
She
down.
was planning
and they
to
can't
go
To go
in.
back to your Mega Man X thing,
Violation of
the whole reason they were
detected.
given these,
However, due to the death of
like,
the unit
this
in
free
question,
will and everything was
corrective
that the
punishment
humans
is
recognized that they
impossible.
were more efficient. Isn't that?
I'll
isn't
bring
that
this
both,
weapon
like,
back to 16D
both,
in the bunker.
like, in a scientific in a purely, like, since they're built for war and everything, in a purely like mechanical standpoint, sure, that's efficient and that's very effective, but at the same time, you always think about the ethics. You're like, man, that's messed up. Like, it's always that creator mentality. I like, like Frankenstein's monsters. Just
Like,
like,
can we do this? Should we do this?
What have I done? Like,
Yeah.
I made this thing, and now, like, for the rest of its existence, it will have to know these sorts of feelings and have to deal with its existence. Like, that's like the whole core of this game is like dealing with your existence. 2B has her way of dealing with it. 9S has his own way, and the robots have just stumbled and walked on their little baby feet, forming their own personalities, and are just starting to build the little building blocks of their own identities and are pondering their own existence.
Oddly enough, have you ever seen the movie Bicentennial Man?
Oh, with Robin Williams?
Yeah.
I've seen it, but it's been so long, I barely remember any of it.
A lot of people don't like it, but I remember liking it. Like, it had a good idea.
Oh yeah.
And oddly enough, it does sort of tie into this in a weird way.
Oh, I remember one of the songs on Bicentennial Man was I believe in miracles. No, 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 you're sex a thing, you're sex a thing. And I remember, like, I just remember parts of the movie. Like, one part was Robin Williams getting, like, artificial organs, and we saw his artificial bladder and his, like, intestines and everything. I was just like, interesting. They're like just clear, see-through versions of all organs, and he just becomes more and more human.
That ties into this, where it's like things that were not human, taking on human qualities.
And also tying it back to ourselves. Saw those robots in that one part of the factory? Man, isn't that like weird to think of, like, all of them being mass produced and everything, and like all of these potential lives that could be
Right.
that could be an individual. Like, I guess it makes you kind of grasp the whole situation of, like, I can't possibly meet all the people in the world. It's hard to comprehend all the humans in the world, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like, I can understand the word a billion, but as a number, like,
Yeah.
that's beyond what I can actually comprehend. Like, I've never seen a billion things. It would be tough for me to really formulate that in my head, what that would look like,
It's the humanly impossible. You wouldn't have enough time, even if you looked at a billion. Okay, say you observed a billion objects, like a small, like, die, and you observed, like, well, you rolled a billion dies. Even if you rolled it as fast as possible, it'd take an enormous amount of time. And that's just dealing with, like, the probability of 6, you know?
Yeah.
We're dealing with something much more complex. Boop, boop, boop.
Well, that's also why I think a lot of people have trouble with scale for certain things where,
Oh yeah.
you know, the idea of like, you know, our sun is this big versus our Earth is this
I
big.
can't. I never get into. I have like comparisons. I'm just like, oh shit. Like I was like, man, I never for the longest time as a kid, I was like, I never truly got how big a blue whale is until I had that little picture in one of my like picture dictionaries that showed a blue whale and then it showed a person, a diver next to it. I was like, shit, it's that big.
Yeah.
I knew it was big. Like I was like, yeah, biggest animal on the planet. I was like, but I never really grasped how big it was.
You know, and at that point, like you could say, like, oh, I've seen an elephant. Elephants are pretty big.
But to see it in person is a whole nother thing. Like,
Yeah,
my
but
mom
then-
describes just how massive the thing is.
And then you're like, oh, a blue whale is a lot bigger than an elephant. You're like, oh dear. Well, I've seen elephants. I know how big they are. If it's bigger than that,
Yeah.
wow, that's a big animal.
Battlelog's attacked. She was the bravest of us all. Whereas I'm a defensive unit.
Well, I'll let this play out, but I'm going to bring up something else, which some people might not like me bringing up, but I actually kind of find it funny. But here's our big decision,
Yeah.
because we were pondering it ourselves. And
Tell her about her attempted desertion or keep her plans to hers. Keep 11B's plans to yourself. And I was like, I'm gonna keep, like, that's another thing this game does is like the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Like revealing of the truth. Do you do it? Do you not? What would you even do with yourself even if you knew the truth? Like, is it even worth it?
I would be interested to know if how that plays out if you do tell her the truth, or if it's as inconsequential as telling Undyne that anime isn't real.
I don't know if it's inconsequential for that character. It really did impact her a lot.
It did.
I mean, I know what you mean with the whole, like, she's still Undyne and, like, nothing crazy happens. Like, she's like, I can't live in this world, and, like, you know, like, just doesn't decide not to go to the surface or whatever. Or kill herself or whatever, but nah. Mm. 11B's memento.
So yeah, and we're gonna check it out in a second. But she gave us a sword that you hadn't gotten before.
Yeah. It's not the best sword at starting out, but who knows? Maybe it will
Yeah,
be.
who knows? It might become great.
Like I said, all the weapons have like a different end game type, special ability.
Mm-hmm. It would definitely, like, I'm not a super completionist by any point, but the fact that, as we've gone over before, like, each of these swords has its little story to go with it, that would definitely motivate me to try to level them up so I can get the whole story.
Exactly.
Because I like stuff like that.
Excuse me. Need some water.
That's all right. We've been talking.
Yeah, but it's an old standard issue Yoha blade. Actually, it's not an old type. It's just a basic one. So like a basic army knife type deal, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Since Non-S and I are special, we get
Oh,
the
and
special.
he made me do my my DJ voice.
Yep. Let's get that day started.
Let's get that day started. That's not really radio. It's more of a announcer. But
Let's
hey,
get ready to rumble. McMahon.
I know that the dude who did that actually copyrighted it, so that's his catchphrase.
Oh wait, who does it? Is it not McMahon?
No, that was.
I thought he was all like, "Let's get ready to rumble."
I think he was on UFC or MMA.
UFC? Okay.
He was doing. Maybe it was boxing or something. He was announcer for something that was.
Oh, yeah, that makes.
And
sense.
because it was his, he came up with it, and it was his way of announcing. He trademarked it.
Yeah.
So no one else.
Oh,
that's
man.
why only he can do it that way.
Get that royalty. Cause that's everywhere.
I think here's where we're signing off. So guys,
We'll
In the next episode, we'll be doing more stuff. Probably getting back to the story. I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure the next episode we get back to it. So see you guys next time.
See ya.